We were driving in the car back from my wife's parents' house, and for the past 2 hours, we had been talking about nothing but politics. I decided to change the subject. Did you see this video of the guy who found an extra ticket to the Super Bowl in his dad's jacket pocket after he died? My wife, being ever the pragmatist, responded, "Why would there be a ticket to last year's Super Bowl in a man's jacket pocket?" But then it hit me. The perfect way to turn this political discussion into something more fun was with a game. I turned to her and said, "Okay, here's what we're gonna do. We're going to play a little game." She gave me a look that clearly said, "You have officially lost your mind." But then she relented and agreed to play along. "Here's how the game worked," I told her. "For the rest of this trip, I want you to pretend that there is a passenger in the car with us. I want you to talk to him, engage him in conversation, ask him questions, get him to tell you stories about his life, all while maintaining eye contact with him and acting like he's really there." My wife looked at me and said, "Are you out of your mind? How am I supposed to do that when there's no one there?" I responded, "That's the whole point of the game. You have to make him feel so welcome and important that he feels compelled to come out of hiding." At first, she was skeptical, but then she caught on and started playing along. She started by saying, "Hey, front seat passenger, thanks for giving up your seat for me. I know this must be really uncomfortable for you, but if you need to move around, just let me know, and we can switch." To which I responded, No, it's really fine. I don't mind at all. I actually enjoy sitting in the back and just people watching." Then she asked him, "So where are you headed? Visiting family or just taking a little road trip?" To which he replied, "Actually, I'm heading back home after visiting my daughter. She graduated from college a couple days ago, and I couldn't be more proud of her. She got a degree in marine biology and plans to work with sea turtles in Costa Rica." My wife turned to him and said, "That sounds amazing. Must be so rewarding to know that your daughter is helping such an important cause." At this point, I was trying to stifle laughter because I could just imagine someone sitting in the back seat of our car in full costume as a sea turtle. He continued, "Yeah, she's always had a big heart. When she was just a little girl, she would bring home injured birds and try to nurse them back to health. My wife and I would come home from the grocery store and find towels and blankets draped over boxes with holes in them. And sure enough, inside would be some poor bird that she had found, and she would take care of them until they were ready to be released back into the wild." My wife leaned over and asked, "So what kind of birds would she bring home?" And he responded, Oh, kinds. Once she brought home a bald eagle. Can you imagine the look on the face of our mortgage company when we called them to say that we needed to list our home in the MLS as a temporary wildlife sanctuary? They weren't thrilled. And so our conversation with the imaginary passenger continued. We talked about his hobbies, his career, his hopes, his dreams, his fears, his childhood, his parents, everything. All the time he was telling these stories. My wife was making eye contact with him, nodding, smiling, frowning, asking follow-up questions. She was fully engaged in conversation with someone who wasn't there. It was a little weird to listen to, but it was also pretty funny. I admit I laughed a few times. But then it happened about 30 minutes into our drive. We were approaching my father-in-law's house, and my wife said, "Well, here we are. This is my dad's house. Would you like me to wake him up, or should I let him sleep in?" As I suppressed a smile and responded, "No, wake him up. I'd like to meet him." At this point, my wife stopped the car, turned around in her seat, locked eyes with the passenger in the back, and said, "Dad, this is the friend I told you about. Dad, this is Joe. Joe, this is my dad." I could barely contain myself at this point. And then my father-in-law came to the front seat and sat down next to my wife, and she continued, completely deadpan, "Joe was just telling us about how you used to bring home all these birds and animals, and we were wondering if it was true." Then my father-in-law turned to me and said, "Wait, did someone just sit in this seat?" Clearly, not understanding that my wife was still playing the game, I decided to keep it going. So I said, "Yeah, he was just here. He said he had to go to the bathroom." but I think he's waiting for us outside. My father-in-law looked confused, but then he shrugged it off and we all went inside. After everyone left, I looked back at the car seat where Joe had been sitting, and I swear to God the seat was cold. Now I'll admit that it was a little mean of me to send my father-in-law out into the cold to check the seat. And in his defense, I do want to think he was buying the story that there was a passenger in the car with us. I don't blame him. It was obviously ridiculous. But what's even funnier is that he never mentioned it again. He didn't say, hey, did you guys really think I was buying that story about there being a passenger in the car? No, he just accepted it and moved on. Now, I'm not entirely sure why I told this story. I guess I just wanted to share the awkward moment when my father-in-law came into the house and sat down. Like, yeah, that's funny to me. I don't know why. Maybe it is. Just the idea that he sat in a cold car seat and didn't even question it. Like, that's funny to me. I guess it's like the idea that he's just so matter-of-fact about it. Like, he just accepted it and moved on. That's funny to me. And honestly, I think he was just being polite. He probably didn't want to question it because he didn't want to seem like he was questioning us. And I totally get that. But yeah, I just thought it was funny. It's one of those things where I'm like, man, I wish I could relive that moment again. Just to see his expression when he sat down in the cold seat. I think it was just so funny. Anyway, I don't know. I just thought I'd share that story with you guys. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button. And as always, thank you so much for watching.